So the topic today is combine and rule, and I will tell you how to build some proper system which you can use for analyzing your data and making the decisions from the world of chaos. And I will explain first why is that. So a short intro about myself. I came all the way down from Ukraine, from city of Dnipro, which is in the middle, and I am the head of analytics department of the company named Avax. I'm mostly experienced in e-commerce and digital analytics, so I can be serious as well. Just a few words about my company. We set up projects for mainly e-commerce projects, and we produce our own services based on Google BigQuery. And we just purely interested in helping others to make right decisions, and we don't sell any ads. So these are a couple of our clients. So what is really digital analytics is about? I need to really answer this question before move to the main topic. So first, from my point of view, it's digital analytics helps us to measure how our efforts lead to results. By efforts, I mean like when we develop different touch points, when we invest in the website development, in the apps, and everywhere where the potential customer can touch the product. When we create the product offers, so this is just some physical object that a person could buy, or some app or content user can consume. And of course, advertising, which brings the traffic to our websites and to different touch points. And this leads to some results, like revenue, of course, like increasing the number of customers and increasing the share on the market. So and this is the most difficult part, to understand how first actions connect and lead us to results, and what challenges we currently have. So this is the funnel that could be like some service funnel, or the funnel of the sales funnel of any B2B service, or retail funnel. And we think that we have all the data, but really we have the data just in the end of the funnel, where a user submits some transaction. And we know the characteristics of the user, we know his name, we know his credit card details, we know maybe some of his, we know his mail, we know his birthday, and we know how much he spent to buy our product, of course. And we think that it is necessary to attract other customers and to understand the buying capabilities of our audience. But the thing is that the really big amounts of data hide in the upper part of the funnel, and there are a lot of data about what traffic channels we use to acquire our customers, what touch points they use to browse our websites, and what devices do they use to browse our apps. And the question that we can answer is why some people bought our service or product. But the most important questions that we don't ask ourselves is why some people didn't buy our product, because this is 50 or 100 more people that didn't do it. So we really need to understand, and we need to analyze the data to understand why someone didn't do what we wanted him to do. And user journey becomes more and more complicated every year. So it is not just I went to browse, I was looking for some product, I Googled it and I bought it. First, I can use several devices. I can phone to get consultancy about the service that I'm interested in. I can then go to the physical store to get another consultation. Then I can purchase this from my smartphone, and then I can get some recommendations and buy another one. So as you see, I use several touch points, and some of them are not measurable. Like I cannot measure. As a company, I cannot understand that the person who visited the website is the same person that visited my offline store. If, of course, I don't have the customer card, that some loyalty card that that will connect all this data. So more and more, the user journey becomes more complicated. And we often discuss like questions around the ROI, and like we sometimes measure ROI on the source level, like on the channel level. But what we really need to do is to measure it on the session level and on the level of every user. Why is that? So first, for example, as I showed the example before, I use several channels to finally make a purchase. So I use, for example, Bing, AdWords, then organic search, and then I buy my laptop. So I know what is my CPO. So I know how much I spent to acquire a particular user, and I know what he bought, so I can count ROAS. And then I start sending him emails that I have some promotions and all this stuff. And then he buys another product. And then I don't stop advertising, and this person might still click, and he will continue to spend my money. So in the end, what I really can count is the LTV of the user. But the question is how much I can spend or how much I still can invest in that user. And if we all speak and know about LTV, we don't take into consideration some KPI which is called LTC, the lifetime cost. So because there are some users that we can that bought some, for example, 2 products, and we really spent twice of that amount. And where is the limit where we need to stop? So we really need to understand the cost of every session and cost of every user action. And this is not possible because we usually the limit is the keyword utilization, and we really need to understand the cost of every session. And can I ask you a question who uses GA? Please raise your hand. Okay, so furthermore, I will bring more examples on the GA, but most of the points they relate to all web analytics system as well. So I've been doing some research where I was estimating the impact of sampling. So who is familiar with what is sampling and who has sampling? Oh yeah. So this is very known problem. So this is the dependency of the sample size, which is what is used to build a report in GA, for example, and the deviation dependent from this sample size. So you can see, if the report is built on 1% of data for visits, for example, then the discrepancy could be 5 or even more %. If you are a big business and every % counts, then you can take your own decision, and you know the effective campaign from your point of view. You will start to invest more and more money in this, and this will be pointless because you took the wrong decision and it was not effective at all. So sampling really matters. And for example, if you want to get rid of sampling, then you need to buy some premium product or Adobe Analytics or Google Analytics 360, which is called already. So, but still you will not be able to analyze every session. So we need to say yes that we live in a world of chaos, and we need to do something with all the data we have. So let's summarize it. And this, I was talking mostly about GA, but honestly, you can apply it to almost all analytics services. So data sets are stored in different places. So in some services, you have your cost data for your campaigns. In other services, you have data about your users' behavior on your touch points. You have information about your users in your CRM, and you have information about your product characteristics, pricing, and availability in your ERP, and much more services. So you need some tool to combine this all together. Then the data is being lost on the way through the storage. So for example, if you according to my experience and to the to the feedback I have heard from many customers, and what I've seen in GA, the data losses, for example, for the transactions, they could be from 5 to 15% using JavaScript. So if you don't use some server-side solution like measurement protocol, or if you don't export transaction data further into another storage, then you can you don't take into consideration the big amount of transactions that are just not simply there. So to you, the session starts ends with nothing, but the customer really bought something and brought you value. There is no data reprocessing J. It means that once you have recorded the transaction and then you realize that you canceled it because the user rejected to pay for the product, or they bought something else, or you changed the order via the phone, and you need to reflect it in J. But all you can do is send the refund. But refund, it doesn't change the original transaction. It remains unchanged. You just write in another column that you have a refund for this product, and it does not impact any ROI calculations, any revenue calculations on the charts for that period. So you really cannot change anything that you have already sent to J. And at cost, as I said, is not related to a particular session, and you cannot count the LTV vs LTC metrics. And some more points. There is data sampling, which doesn't allow you to take right decisions. If you would like to build some, to answer some complicated question, you are just bound to the interface, where there is a limit how many dimensions you can use, how many metrics you can set up in one report, and you cannot do everything that you want. And there is no real time. So if you are a big business, or if you need to understand quickly what is the quality of your campaign that you have just launched, then you need to wait at least 1 or 2 days, depending on the amount of the data that you process, and only then you can rely on the data you have collected. So some solution that we've been coming to, and I would like to share. So what you really need to do, you need to combine the results, so the revenue that you got from your users, the characteristics that you stored from your audience, and you need to understand the impact of their efforts, their behavior on the results that you've got. So I would show you data flow that works for many projects that we have set up. So first you have website and the apps, and use data layer, where you have all the user dimensions, all the characteristics of the content they're interacting with. So please raise your hand if you have a GTM setup or Tilium setup, or great. So you have already metrics that are running to J. And then you need to do, what you need to do is to stream them into another storage where you can build the hit level and session level analysis. This solution could be a BigQuery. So there are 2 ways, or even I will show 3 ways how you can get data into BigQuery. So first, if you're a premium user, then you can just export it. There is, you just mark the checkbox. Another way, you can stream data directly from your website to Google BigQuery. And the third solution that many use, to avoid sampling, you can split your request, which you make into your data. For example, to get data during a month, you can do it you can do 30 requests and export data day by day. This is not the easiest one, but it will also work. And then you can use in the API of Google BigQuery, import data there. If you, for example, have some actions that happen in offline, not on your website, not in your apps. For example, you want to record some call that impacts your transaction. You can use measurement protocol and stream this data not only to J, but to Google BigQuery as well. So you get all the data in one place. And if you would like to, if your transaction has been changed, then you would like to reflect these changes again in the system. And you would use some ETL tools to export this data to Google BigQuery. Or you can use like your own solution to set it up. It's maybe 1 or 2 days of coding. And then you can use one of the following solutions to visualize your results after making some SQL requests. You can use Google Sheets to build simple charts. You can use your internal solution that hosts on your servers, and you can use, for example, different visualizing tools like Tableau or Data Studio, or you can export the results of your calculations to work for you. For example, to remarketing list to use the calculations in some actionable insights. Or I will show you this visualization some different way. So you have GTM and Google Analytics. You need to export cost data there. Then you will send this data to BigQuery, and you can import data from CRM to have the clear information about your transactions. And you can use, for example, these two tools. I will show some examples later on. So how I was talking about data streaming to BigQuery, so how does it work? So this is just the request that I copied from the Chrome console, and you see that it has all the parameters of J. There are a lot of custom dimensions like city22, city23, and all this stuff. And what you need to do is to change the URL address, and you will be streaming this data to an endpoint, which will be redirecting this data to Google BigQuery. This is the solution that we developed, but it is possible to use only the API, which are open to build this own. So in the end, you've got the following picture. So you will have the data set for each day with all the parameters that you have in Google Analytics, but you will have them in unsampled hit level way in Google BigQuery. So I will just show how does it look like in BigQuery. So this is the data schema that is used to store all the parameters. So you see there are all the identifiers. Hit ID, this is the ID of each user interaction that a user conducts on the website or in the app. This is user ID, unique identifier that you set it up on the website or in your CRM system. And all other dimensions that are standard in JE or the custom ones that you have created by your own. And so this is the full list. And then you can see what is the size of this table, what is the data location, all that parameters. And then you can actually browse your data. So here you can use any custom dimensions value that you have sent to BigQuery. And you can query it as you like. For example, I would like to find here all the sessions that have with the campaign excluding not set. So I would like to estimate the effectiveness of campaigns I've been running for a while. So once you have all the unsampled data in BigQuery, then you would like to add some cost data to understand the ROI of your campaigns. And you can there are a lot of solutions for that, and they all use the same API. So this is what you need to do in the J interface to set it up. You just need to create a data source, like a data set with the cost data type, and you need to, and then after the export you will have the costs directly in the Google Analytics. And then you export it to BigQuery using the API. So now we can calculate both revenue and cost of the campaigns. And then the last, we need to to reflect the changes in the transactions in these data behavioral data sets. And what we need to do, we need to export the relevant, up-to-date list of transactions with correct revenue and with the correct product set. So to the left, this is the table with the online actions, and in the right there is the correct order details in your CRM. So you basically need to export the table in any structure, but it has to have two IDs. One user ID and one transaction ID. These keys will be used when joining the data in the SQL query with what you already have in BigQuery. So currently you have online behavioral data in unsampled way, you have costs, and you have correct revenue. So now you can use it to really understand the impact of your efforts on your results. And I would like to list some advantages of Google BigQuery. So first, you have all data in one place. So you don't need to make exports from all services that you use and to deal with many Excel tables or with many tables in Google Sheets. You have everything in one place. You have 100% revenue and cost data accuracy. And if something is changed, you can upload it again to BigQuery. The data streaming is real-time, like for some cases. If you use some premium export, it could be once per several hours. You can keep the data up to date. So there is reprocessing. If something was changed and you export it again to BigQuery, the table is being recreated again. So you do not actually change what you have stored, but you create another table. And due to the capabilities, you can do it very fast. And you have all the hit and session level data, which allows you to make some useful reports, which I will show now. So for example, you are running some campaigns that so you would reflect, you would like to attract users to buy, for example, smartphones. But some of these traffic comes to smartphones, and then these users, they buy another product. And if you would like to understand the impact just of this campaign, you would probably do it just focusing on that particular category. But user behavior is complicated and multi-channel, so they would probably buy something else. And those who visited in other categories and landed on another category pages, they would buy from the category you analyze currently. So then you need to understand really the sequences of all the user actions, all the landing pages that they visited, and you want to join this together. And then you would realize that 9% of the category that you analyze, those users bought something from another category, and like users that landed on a category like 4, they bought something from category 2. This is not possible to do in J because there are no such reports, and like you cannot query data like this way. It is also possible to build a real-time dashboard. So this is every 5 minutes you make a request and you compare what was the amount of events, for example, for a shop button today, and you compare this to the amount of clicks the day before. And if you see 0, 0, 0, you might understand that something is broken. And you will go and like test this functionality. You cannot get it on a test service, like sometimes because you need really to understand how it is shown to the users that work with your website. There is also something that you can see. You can understand the impact of competitors' prices on the conversion, on your own conversion rate. So, for example, if you suggest the price higher than the market average, then you will, like, it is expectable that your conversion rate will be lower. But the question is like, how much do you need to, you can increase your price to be profitable. You can do it by 10% or you can do it by 5%. And analyzing this data, you can understand like how more can you, like, can you benefit from like playing with the prices. So these are some reports which will be available later on after the session. So I'll just jump over to the last one. So these are some sets of data that will that I used to build a dashboard in Google Data Studio, and the source is Google BigQuery. And this is the dashboard that will be refreshed, like for example, every 5 minutes or any period, or any time period you would like. And you can see like the JSROR's time on the website, average paid load, and you can do it in real time. And this is a dashboard for the marketing side, like, and you can understand the like the data you cannot see in J. So I'm running out of time. So thank you very much for attention. Presentation will be available after the conference, and I'm here. Please approach me for any questions. Thank you very much.